Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Backstage Bimbo TV. It's me as usual, Allison Rouse, your most notorious groupie, and author of We've Got Tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie. Me, that's right. My book is available in ebook, hard copy, and soft cover. So you guys, the link is in the description. Go check it out because there's a lot of cool stuff in the book. A lot of pictures, passes, stuff that you're going to see that's really cool. I mean, it's such a good book that producers are stealing it for their shows on other bands. This is true. Pisses me off, but that's right. And also, don't forget, I do have a merchandise line, guys. I do. Backstage Bimbo Inc. over at Teespring. Link is down in the description. I just put some new designs up that were based on me and another girl's conversation who I met through this book. So I take your guys' recommendation on what you want to see. So go see, check it out, guys. All right. So this week, thank you guys. So for so many questions, really, I cannot do it all in one session. So we're just going to start with a few of them and break this up into 2, possibly 3. Because so cool that you guys are interacting and really becoming a part of this. I love it, you guys. Thank you so, so much. And just going to have a little Bailey's and Fireball today. So everybody, grab your balls, kick up your feet. Let's have a cocktails and rocktails for some question and answers. Cheers, big ears. Love it. All right, so today we are going to start with, sorry, I've got to prop this up a little bit. Which one shall we start with? Tamar, I love you, Tamar. I love her to death. She's such a sweet person. Thank you for asking questions and stuff. So what bands do you want to see? Are there any good bands you think are around for the last 10 years? Great question. You know, there's not a lot of new bands that really kind of pique my interest very much. You know, in the last 10 years, if you guys haven't heard of The Who, not the rock band The Who, but the H-U, they've done a couple singles, one with Jacoby Ellis. They're from Mongolia, and they're throat singers that do metal, and it was really badass. I think that's the coolest, and they are coming, so I'm going to go see them. I want to see Metallica again, because I haven't seen Metallica for 30 years. Not for 30 years. So there's the bands I would like to see. And the coolest band that I think has come along that's doing these collaborations. And it took me a while to figure out it was the HU and not the Who. I was like, wow, this is really cool. I didn't know Pete Townsend could do such cool shit. And it's not Pete Townsend at all, but check them out, guys. Really cool band. And they are on tour, so go see them. All right. Gianna B. Yes, I am planning to do a podcast. I'm going to be, and Kristen, she watches these sometimes not, but I would actually like to do it with Kristen or the other girls and have the Salt Lake City Welcoming Committee podcast. So that is something that, so Kristen, you're watching, I've been meaning to call you. Let's get all this together. I just think it would be really cool to have the other girls be a part of it and really kind of expand and be able to do it now that concerts are starting again. You can do some stuff while bands are in town. So, yes, I am planning to start a podcast. Absolutely, Gianna. Great question. All right. Linda Steins. She wants to know what bands I still hang out with. Whatever ones I want to. And it's not necessarily a band that I knew, like the last band I hung out with, because my friend Oris was working for them. And I didn't hang out with the band, I just went and had dinner and said hi to a few people, was Journey. Not a band that I have ever been friends with, but I go because my friend Oris works for them. Or like a band that I know if Metallica comes to town, I might go show up for them. But yeah, there's a few bands. It's not like I need to see every band in the world. No, I just want to hang out with my old friends that were really special and meant something to me along my journey in this life. So, yeah, there are bands, and I will let you guys know when I start the podcast and stuff. You're going to see who I'm still hanging out with. Because there are good concerts coming that I want to go to. Like I said, The Who, Jerry Cantrell, Alice in Chains is on my birthday, August 29th. not July like some websites have reported. My birthday's in August. I'm a Virgo. So yeah, gonna want to hang out with Alice in Chains because I haven't seen them in forever. Probably not since my Seattle years. Crazy, right? So there you go. There's the answer to that one, Linda. Okay, here's kind of a couple. Alea Sarbazi, if I'm saying your name's wrong, I'm so sorry. I love that name though. Aleka or Aleha? I'm so sorry. My writing was pretty scribbly right now. Said, would I marry a rocker? Because we've all known my opinion on rockers are great lovers. They're wonderful friends. They're absolutely chivalrous, incredibly kind men, but they don't make great husbands. I have been asked. And maybe I would now, as to compared when I was younger. I don't think I would have when I was younger because we were all still too wild, too free. I knew it wouldn't be a really private relationship or alone, just the two of us. But now I might consider it because if the rocker's older, close to my age, which, as we all know, most of the rockers I dated are from 5 to 30 years older than me. We've kind of settled down now, so I would consider it now than more I would have when I was younger. So yeah, maybe now. And the best time with James. I mean, the funnest, craziest night was probably the night we put the bow in his hair and did the alphabets and stuff. But you know, my favorite times with James... Sorry guys, I have to keep stopping because there's construction going on. But my favorite time with James was probably the first night we met. When we were just into our own little world, talking to each other, standing in the hallway when you walk into the hotel room. Those were always my favorite times with James, our alone time. Because it was just he and I. Just us. And that time was just for me and just for him. So those were my favorite times with James. And I'm going to take us to this one by Karen Glenn. The question is, if a favorite lover contacted you now, what would I do? And that's kind of something that is up in debate right now among a certain band's fans because a certain lead singer's wedding ring after 30 years has come off. I would probably talk to him. There's a lot to consider because it really depends on the person. Say if it was bass player that I talk about, but I won't say his name, fuck no. Would not consider talking to him, redating him, nothing, absolutely not. But a certain singer whose wedding band recently has disappeared, I would consider it, but there's a lot to consider and take into that because it's not just about rock and roll and having fun anymore. We're grown up. It's a totally different world. So depending on the situation and the musician, yes, I would probably entertain a conversation with a certain musician, and probably only two. They're both lead singers. One I haven't talked about yet, so I'm not going to tell you. Because people will be shocked when I talk about this guy. Hang on. I'll show you. So we all know... Whoops, sorry. I keep knocking my stuff. Hold on again. Okay, sorry. I kept knocking my stuff around. It's down on the floor. Anyway, so the one lead singer whose wedding ring first came off, yes, I would consider talking to him again. Or this guy. Oh. If you don't know who he is... I'll tell you about him later. But if you know who he is, I'll still tell you about him later. Because two pretty incredible guys for different reasons. Two totally opposite personalities. So those are the only two I would really consider actually maybe dating again. So there's the answer to that one. All right. Deborah Stroud Hubbard. Hi, babes. How you doing? Any regrets that wish I would have done or not done? No. Metallica taught me a long time, and this also goes with part of Sunshine's question. This is part of the answer. Sunshine asked, biggest life lesson as a groupie? James Hetfield once said, regret's a fucked up word. Don't do anything that's going to cause you regret, or not do anything. So that's kind of the life lesson it taught me, to be bold, to be brave in my actions, and to never let a moment slip by. But being in rock and roll, one of the biggest life lessons, friendship, loyalty, trust, and what love is supposed to really be, and not some falsehood. It's based on trust. So really, the trust and loyalty was a huge lesson, because the trust in rock and roll, the loyalty is a higher level than the average everyday person. So kind of gave me that aspect, which was really awesome. I love the strength that rock and roll gave me. So really great lessons to take with you in life. Oh, and only lettuce. I love this question. It made me laugh. Not the first two part. They wanted to know if there was a band I was into spiritually or metaphysically. Yes, there was, because my heart and soul was into bands like Metallica, like The Who, like Vinnie Paul and Pantera, Steve Jones. So spiritually, yes, I was into him more than just a physical aspect. But the part about this question that made me really laugh was, anything spooky ever happen with a rocker? Only lettuce, do you know that I woke up next to a dead man? Gonna tell you, there's nothing spookier than this dead silence. Because there is a sound to that dead silence. And that was the spookiest thing that ever happened, waking up to someone in full rigor and lividity. That hotel room's haunted, and I will go back. I'm going to film that because I've only been back to Vegas once since I left in 2003, for obvious reasons. But when I do go back, I'm going to go in that room. And we'll see if it's haunted. So that's a question that we're going to continue somewhere down the line. All right. Dead to me. Hey, how you doing, honey? Worst thing that is done to a girl, because they've done things. A lot of girls, other groupies have been really fucked up to other girls. Like we had women to us. No, we were not actually the mean girls and groupies. So we didn't do anything really super mean. Of course, not allowing girls backstage after we turned 18 and made the 18 rule. That was pretty fucked up, because that wiped out a ton of the groupies. But really, the meanest thing I've done to a girl is the Ugly Kid Joe story. I'll put the link down in the description. Not my finest moment. Probably not hers either. But, it wasn't mean. So, put the link down in the description and you watch what I did. Tell me how mean that was. All right. You know what, Sarah? I love this question. Sarah M. Have I ever suffered from depression? Yes. It runs in my family. So it is a hard thing that, myself, members of my family, and millions of other people suffer with every day. And it is hard. And so many people who don't understand it want to give advice. And the only advice that I can give is, in your head, and you have to tell yourself, this too shall pass. So, you're going to have your downswings. It's like a roller coaster. You're going to have that down moment where you're just like, fuck. You can't get off the floor. You're bawling your eyes out. It's the end of the world. You're a failure at everything. You just tell yourself the most horrible things. And then you're going to have your up moments where you're comfortable and you're happy. And but it sucks because you're always waiting for that other shoe to drop. So yes, I do know depression. But I've always found really actually exercising and vitamin D, getting out in the B and everything, getting out in the sun really actually does help me and combat my downtime. So, yeah, depression, not a fun thing. And they also asked the nicest rocker and the rudest rocker. So the nicest rocker, obviously, Ronnie James Dio. Hands down. Always out there with the fans, always thankful, always just such a sweet, humble guy. Rudest rocker, Glenn Danzig, unless you're a pretty woman and he wants you. He's an asshole. Tiny man, tiny penis. So I've heard. I looked at his crotch and was like, no, not for me. So he was the rudest. Oh, hi, Lucille, honey. How you doing, sweetie? Okay, so Lucille has a question about has any rocker feared my stories? No, they haven't. And I did let a lot of rockers know, a lot of bands knew, rumor mill out was I was writing this book. The book is out. I think they really feared if I was going to get into the physical aspects comparatively, size and stuff like that. I think that's the only thing I feared because the rockers did not know my age. So they had no fears there. They thought I was 22 for 6 years. I had a fake ID, so there was not a lot of fear. And everything in this book happened. The guys were single before they met their wives, are still single, never been married. So nobody knew, and they knew I didn't have a lot of bad things to say about them. So no fears, and nobody's bitched at me for it since. And it's been out for 8 years. Yep, 8 years in February. So I've been lucky on that. Touch wood. Libra Mistress, this is a good question. How did I afford concerts? Because I was on the guest list. I've only actually paid for one concert in my life. That was September of 1985. The first concert I went to was Rat. After that, nope. Guest list, backstage pass, arriving with the band. So that's how you afford it. If you don't pay for it, then pretty damn affordable. And when you're a groupie with the band, you're on the guest list. So that's how you afford the concerts. And they fly you out, or you're on tour with them and they fly you home. So I've been very fortunate to be very spoiled and welcomed by the boys and enjoyed an incredible hospitality, because it is hospitality. When you're backstage, it's their dime. When they're flying you home, it's them making sure you're getting safe and you're respected. So always enjoy the hospitality, respect it, and be thankful for it. And I am, because 30 some odd plus years, God, I don't even know how long anymore. Oh, fuck. 1985, let's say. Oh, Jesus. Like 37 years. Yeah, only paid for one concert. All right. Let's see. I think I've answered all these questions. Linda, yeah, I've answered all the questions that I had planned to for today. So hope you enjoyed the answers, you guys. I really enjoyed getting the questions. I'm going to film another, like I said, 2 or 3 of these, because, guys, really interacted. I love it. I love hearing your questions. I love meeting you guys, getting to know you, and I hope you're getting to know me. And again, thank you for all the love and support, suggestions, ideas. Keep them coming, you guys, for helping me get my book out there, for new episodes, for getting signed to Hulu. You guys, really, I'm truly appreciative. This has been the biggest lesson that I've learned, to never give up hope on people, because you guys have shown me a lot of love. So I hope I show some love back, and thank you guys again for all the questions. Tune in for part 2 and part 3 coming up, and we will see you next week for some more cocktails and rocktails, some rocky talkies. Don't forget to hit the subscribe buttons, hit the share button, and hit the bells to be noticed, because like I said, once I hit 1,000, I will give away merch. I will give away autographed books, all kinds of stuff. All right, guys. So thank you again for all the love and support. We'll see you next week. Cheers, big ears.